rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Some recent events at YC. So we recently held a staff versus students kickball game, and it went super well. It was so much fun. It was really nice seeing the teachers and students hang out and like hang out with each other and have fun outside the classroom. It was really fun. And recently, many colleges and universities have been dropping by YC and giving presentations. We've had Yale came the other week, so has University of Southern California and UC Santa Barbara. We have, I think, probably 4 or 5 more colleges coming, and many of our seniors right now are filling out those UC applications and the Common App to hopefully get into those very prestigious schools. This week is homecoming for us, which is so much fun. Our homecoming theme is Fantasyland. So it's going to be a bunch of fun. We're also having a spirit week as well. Yesterday was Magical Monday, and it was fun seeing a bunch of wizards and fairies on campus. It was a lot of fun. And then today was Mary Poppins, Bring Anything But a Backpack, and we had some pretty creative students. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And so on Friday we have our homecoming game. JV is at 5 o'clock, and then varsity is at 7:15. We will be playing Bella Vista. We will be having a homecoming tailgate, which is open to the public from 5 o'clock to 8:30. This will be held in the JV baseball field right behind our stadium. We're going to have games and a photo shoot. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope you guys will be able to come. And then before the game, we're going to have classes and clubs kind of like parade around the track to just show off and we could recognize them and stuff. And then during halftime, we'll be announcing our royalty winners. And finally, our student function will be wrapping pink for Pink October. And then this Saturday, we'll be having our dance. We'll be having our Powder Puff game October 20th at 5 o'clock. If you guys would like to come, it's going to be a bunch of fun. And then the same day, we'll be having our food fair, where our student-run clubs and classes will be selling treats and drinks and candy and food and stuff to raise money for their clubs. And if you guys would like to come, please come. It's open to you guys. It starts at 12:54 and it's on B Street, and it ends around 1:30ish. And then we're gonna have a canned food drive that starts on October 23rd and November 8th. And so far, that's what's going on at YC. Is there any update on the online fundraising by chance?
Mr. Bentley has been out on medical leave, and so he will be returning, and so I will remind him maybe some of his time that he'll be able to reach that. So hopefully report back to you in 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That's it. I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you. Too.
Good evening to the school board and audience. I'm excited to update with you what's been happening at RV as well as what's coming up. Last time we left off, we were in our homecoming week. It was a great success. At our night in New York dance, we had over 400 students join us. It was such a memorable night and it was so much fun. We even had a video game truck come out. Some students don't like to be dancing all night and they just rather play video games for a while. So that was super fun and a cool experience. And overall, everyone had a great time. I want to thank everyone that came out to the parade. We had a great turnout with our students, our clubs, athletics, the community, and businesses all. And we're excited to see where we can take this in our upcoming years. October is also Native American Heritage Month. Last Wednesday, we had our powwow led by one of our freshman students, Alexandra Chapman. That was such a cool thing to witness. She performed a healing dance with her aunt, and they compete in powwows across California. And all the students and teachers in attendance were able to learn about the history and cultural significance behind the healing dance. Pink October is also in full swing. Every Wednesday, we dress out in pink to show our spirit as well as raise awareness for breast cancer. And every Wednesday, we have various activities. Last week, it was led by one of our clubs, United in Pink. And we're really happy that they're able to show students more about what breast cancer is and how common it is. And our football game this week is also a pink out. And last Saturday, it was the annual Kiwi run, and for breast cancer, and we had a lot of our Falcons show out and either walk or volunteer. Midterms are this Thursday and Friday. Our students have been working hard to study and this quarter on a good note. Our campus and community outreach student-led team has been spreading positivity by giving out various treats like pop-its and mental health stickers to relieve stress, as well as just any food or snacks, treats like that with positive messages. October is a very busy month, and at the end, we're preparing for our fall festival where clubs will do activities like sack races, as well as sell food to raise money. And finally, at the beginning of November is our Fall into Leadership District event, where River Valley and Yuba City High Schools, our ASB teams hold a day for programs and workshops for middle school leadership classes. Next Monday, we're all planning to meet to plan for this event, as well as just show our middle school students the different aspects of being a leader on their campus. Thank you and have a good night.
Do you have a date for the Fall Festival?
Fall Festival, yeah, it's the same day as the Mayor's Cup, October 27th. Yep. Really
Is the
funny.
Mayor's Cup at Yuba City or River Valley this year?
It's at Yuba City this year.
Thank you. All right, moving forward to staff recognition, recognition of certificated staff, probationary department status.
I'm gonna turn it over to Forrest Henry and Rob Hoke.
Yeah, we're really excited to recognize our certificated staff that are becoming permanent, and Rob Hoke is here to present certificates for those in attendance.
And there were how many?
There were 56.
This is the first time, right?
This is the first time we're going to do it, but we're going to do it annually now.
Yes. Need to get the word out.
We'll get the word out.
Evening board and cabinet, thank you for having me here tonight to present on certificated staff permanency. This year we're honoring 56 certificated staff members who advanced from probationary to permanent status since 2021. It's a tradition that we're excited to begin, and also making preparations to honor classified staff in a similar manner in the upcoming months. This year we have 3 school counselors, 2 school psychologists, 5 special education teachers, 1 speech and language pathologist, 17 elementary teachers, 6 PE teachers, 8 middle school teachers, 8 high school teachers, 5 CT teachers, 1 middle school teacher. So, as you know, being a teacher is a very challenging job, and we're trying to recruit and retain our teachers, and it's a challenging profession, so we applaud our teachers who make it through these first 2 years, and we look forward to many more years with them, of course. And tonight, rainy night, one of our first rainy board meeting nights of the year, we have one very special teacher in the audience, and I will present her with her certificate, and then we will make sure to get these out to the sites and make sure all our teachers get their certificates and are recognized by their school administrator.
So maybe they could be given to them at a staff meeting?
Yes, that's the plan. Yes. So tonight we're pleased to present Tara Daly with her certificate.
Thank you.
Rob, can I get you guys looking over here?
Yes. Let me put down my stash.
Yay. You will be the newsletter this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Tara Daly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving forward to reports and information, we have the developer impact fee.
Yes, I'm going to turn that over to Laura Esty. who's going to explain what this is and then what will be coming forward at the next meeting.
Good evening. I bring you tonight the developer impact fee. It's basically a summary of our developer fee funds. For those of you that were here in August when we did the unaudited actuals, our developer fees fall under Fund 25. So this is basically just the summary of Fund 25 that you saw. For those of you that memorized your unaudited actuals, these numbers will look familiar. So we've got a disclosure statement, and we've also got the detailed revenue and expenditures. And I'll go quickly, and then if anybody has any questions, you can ask that, because I don't think anybody wants real deep detail on that. So the first page is just going to match your Fund 25. Like we said, it's got your income, your expenditures, your revenue, and then your fund balance. When we go to the second page, it's going to give you some detail of the last 37 years, all of the developer fees that have been collected over that time. You'll see kind of some highs and lows, and that fluctuates a lot basically with what's going on in the city as far as building and things. Page 3 is looking at, again, the revenue. The only thing really as far as recent has been revenue collected from the developer fees and also the interest earned. But then we start on pages 4 and 5, you're looking at specifics, the people who paid last year the money to go into the developer fees. And on the last page, it's talking about the expenditures, again, going back for multiple years, and it'll show the last year. So anybody that's going to do any developing of new homes or adding additions to their homes is going to pay development fees to the district unless it falls under the Melrose area, which is the community facilities district. And so a lot of times the builders will develop in that area. They don't pay developer fees. That's where we get the Melrose when the buyer purchases a home, and then we get the money through their tax revenue. So that is basically it. Does anybody have any questions on expenditures? Or basically, we rent some portables and we purchase a couple portables. So that's all that we've spent for, and fees to purchase or renovate portables.
And Laura, does this come back for an action item at any point in time, or is it just?
I don't think so. It's already been, when you adopted the unaudited actuals, when you accepted the actual audit report, this is just basically Fund 25. It's only action when you decide to increase the fees or change the fee structure.
All right.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Moving forward to William's quarterly report.
Every quarter we have to report in if there's any noise complaints based on making sure kids have instructional materials. So from July, August, and September up to this day, there's been no complaints on instructional materials for kids.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, moving forward to board vision statement and goals.
Yes, so I bring forward, this is a information on in a report, the two draft vision statements that the board is narrowed down in terms of what after refining and wordsmithing. So the two, and then also the draft board goals that we adopted a week ago. So that was a first. And then see if there's any refinements that you would like to continue to see, and that my recommendation and conferring with Bob Payne, and as we move into LCAP, is that consideration that we bring this back to the board at the next board meeting for action for adoption.
The only thing I had was upon reading goal 3. Sorry, is it open for question? Okay. After coming back to it, I was looking at goal 3, YCUSD will include diverse opportunities for inclusion and connectedness to improve student and family involvement. I just thought include seemed a strange word there. Like we will include diverse opportunities for inclusion seems a little duplicative. So right? Include and inclusion.
If you remember, the discussion was that initial word in there was provide, and the board had a discussion about, is that all we want to do is provide? And so if you remember that, so that was why I think the word include was placed.
I remember that in reference to the vision was providing a foundation, right? That was that I remember providing but include and inclusion seemed,
How about facilitate?
or supply or
or even diversify opportunities. We just want to get rid of some big deals.
Facilitate.
I mean,
I said to facilitate diverse opportunities. Because to diversify means we're doing it all. But if we facilitate it, then I don't know. What did you say?
Supply or create or I guess provide. That was something, but that was the thing that jumped out at me. And the other part of that one, and connectedness to improve. I just didn't know if we wanted, like we talked about that previously, was improve, like would be it's measurable in a way, but any like you improve by what? But improve. Obviously, we want to engage students and families. So anyway, that came back to me as like, well, to improve, because then it's already a negative, right? Because you only want to improve things that are poor, that are bad, right? I want to improve.
So increase?
So inspire or encourage student and family involvement. I don't know. That was just, but that's my strike of the beach ball. So anybody has.
I like encourage. That's a good one. Inclusion and connectedness to encourage student and family involvement.
To say encourage.
Enhance doesn't. Enhance.
Yeah, we can't demand.
Just put enhance, right?
I said enhance. I'm looking at a thesaurus.
I'm sorry, I heard you. What did you?
I was looking at a thesaurus and it said enhance.
So I will send out some additional options.
Thank you.
And bring back for possible action at the next meeting.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move forward to the cell transfer.
Yes. So I am seeking board direction regarding the possibility of a program transfer. So in front of you, I've provided just some information, and I've shared this in Friday regarding, what is a program transfer? So currently, Sutter County Superintendent of Schools provides services for students that require a more restrictive environment that we're not able to serve within our district. And in order to bring those students back to the district, you go through a process that's called a program transfer. And so there was a memorandum that came out from CDE that identified 3 criteria that I defined what a program transfer is. So it's the proposed change in the LAO service in terms of students moving from one LAA to another LAA. The change also would involve the funding moving from the Sutter County to directly back to the district. And then the change also must involve the movement of the employees. So there are education codes that during a program transfer, certain certificated and classified employees have rights to be provided the option to transfer to the new provider. And so that would be one of the criteria. And then on top of that, next slide. Additionally, it also applies in the following situations. And so it further defines that one agency is going to be losing teaching positions and the other agency is going to be increasing teaching positions. So that would be Sutter County Superintendent of Schools. Teaching positions would be decreased. Yuba-Sutter Unified would be increasing their teaching positions. And then also students have to be residents of the district or the region which the program will be transferred. So a Butte County district couldn't request a program transfer. And then also just the transfer, so it's okay. Transfer of several classes combined to form an intact identifiable class. So it's identifying the class is actually moving, or they're losing a class, we're forming a class. So that was just further definition of a program transfer.
Can I ask a question real quick? Because all this is really good, but it's very general. Can you give me an example of something specific? Are we talking like the emotionally disturbed program.
Yes, so that program has already been transferred, so we are actually the providers, so we transferred that program from Sutter County to the district a few years ago. Speech and language is another example where it was provided by the county office 17 years ago, 16 years ago, we transferred the speech therapist to us. So there have been some programs where we've become, our own provider.
Okay. Is there anything on the horizon that we're planning to transfer over?
So that's what she's seeking direction on, I think.
Right. So right now we provide services for the entire SELPA, occupational therapy, adaptive PE, visually impaired services, speech therapy. We provide our own speech. We provide preschool services to the entire SELPA. So we're a provider of many services to the other districts. Sutter County provides services to what's called the centralized program. So those would be the special day classes operated on our campuses on our behalf and other districts' behalf. Okay. And I think that's a data point that I didn't include in here is you'll see based upon the data, we 79% of the students, when you do the percentages, but you see the numbers, we are about 79% of the programs that are our students that are comprise those SDCs. All of the programs except for one are housed on Yuba-Sutter Unified campuses. So if you look across the different districts are across the top, and then the number served annually over. So I've shown you 4 years of data. We're currently sitting at Yuba-Sutter Unified has 263 students who are served in the county programs, and there's a total of 332. Generally, the other districts who have students, quite a few students in program, Live Oak would be next generally. Sutter is generally next, and either Britain and Franklin are also districts who have sent bids to the county programs. And then just in terms of one of the other reasons, and again, 17 years ago, I just bring this up, is the superintendent at the time brought me over with the thought process of bringing our students back to the district, and part of it was some of the excess costs. So you'll see just a historical, so that should be, that should be 2020 and 2019, not 18. But you'll see the first years, we have an excess cost that we paid to the county program at that time was 17 million. Last year we were paying over 14 million in excess costs to have our students served in those county programs.
Are you defining excess costs as just what we pay them, or how much more we pay them?
How much more over? Yes.
Than it would cost to do it on our own.
Correct.
Okay,
that is our cost to send students to the program. Am I defining that right, Laura?
Exclusion out of the general fund into the restricted program.
Because there obviously would be a cost to bring it back.
Yes. So there is a cost.
So that's not the savings. That's just the cost.
No, that's just what we're paying in excess. There is, students with disabilities generate funding, but that is over and above what we're having to pay.
Yeah.
So in terms of timelines, there are two different timelines, and what I noted was there can be an accelerated process that would be take 1 year to do. The standard process generally takes 18 months, and there's an analysis that you have to go through to meet the criteria to actually go forward with the program transfer. The board would need to make the final decision if they wanted to go forward. The superintendent's coordinating council would also have to vote regarding the transfer of the program. So this isn't something that just is done. There's a funding analysis, there's the analysis of the employees, there's meetings that happen with parents, meetings that happen with employees, so that everyone is informed about what this means for the students in the county operated programs and for the staff.
But then why is the accelerated process date in the past?
Yeah, so I was just showing you for this school year, we've missed the accelerated process, so we couldn't submit a program transfer.
That is what it would have been.
Yes, so if we were going to do an accelerated process, which I would not recommend for this type of the magnitude of the program, it would be September 1st of 2024, right, for year 4. So as soon as we could submit a program transfer under the standard process, that can be March 1st of 2024.
Are there any questions?
I have a couple of questions. So I'm probably being obtuse, but what exact programs are we thinking of transferring over now? Is there anything?
So it would be the centralized program. So it would be our students who are served in what's designated as the non-categorical program, the severely handicapped program, the multiply handicapped program. So the county operates several different types of classrooms, and so it would be those 263 students in those types of programs transferred back to Yuba-Sutter Unified.
And do we have the space? Because I know there was some concern when the emotionally disturbed program was brought to the campus of River Valley that it wasn't really.
So because all of those programs currently sit on Yuba-Sutter Unified sites, so River Bend, Butte Vista, Lindcrest,
So
Lincoln,
they're already there.
They're already here.
So we don't need to make new space for these.
No, because they're already sitting in classrooms on our campuses.
Okay, that's a good question.
And this originated out of parent concerns and was suggested by the county, correct?
By the SELPA director, yeah. So this was a conversation that Liz Davin had, and there was concerns being raised by the parents. And I'm not going to be naive enough to think that, you know, the staffing issues that they face are some of the same staffing issues that we have. But in conversation that Liz had with the SELPA director, that was one of the recommendations, is that Yuba-Sutter Unified consider a program transfer, because again, the majority of the students in this program are ours. They currently sit in our programs, and so it provides the district the opportunity to operate the programs and have some control over how the programs are operated.
Do you anticipate that then we would be providing more service to students of other districts as well once that?
That is one of the analysis that have to happen during the program transfer is, you know, whether or not Yuba-Sutter Unified wants to be the full provider for all districts. One of the recommendations that has happened over the last 30 years since I've been in this county and was that the idea and notion is maybe some of the small districts should consider forming consortiums and serving their students regionally. So South County students, West County students, because of the fact that there was the concern that students were spending lots of time on the bus. But that would be part of the analysis during the 18 months is, was the board interested in being the provider for the other districts in the county? Because we currently offer the ED program. But I think the only district accessing the ED program is LiveStreams Unified at this time.
Do I need to abstain from this thing?
Well, there's in the vote. It's just an information item.
Well, I think getting more information, a full and it's in depth, especially with regards to the root cause analysis for as much as we can, right, with the county is exactly what kind of trouble they're having. And anticipating the same, that we're, you know, not a beautiful and unique snowflake, we would also have some trouble, and what we would do with that, why we would be different.
Right, and I think that, you know, in terms of previous recommendations and recommendations now, would be one of the considerations is that the program is 79% of Yuba-Sutter Unified students, and the fact that they currently are on our campuses, it does provide, you know, it makes some sense for the district to provide either a provider. It's not unusual. Many districts go this direction when there is such a large magnitude of students. But again, that would be my recommendation is that we would submit the paperwork and start the analysis. Again, the board can withdraw that request at any point in time, but you do have to go through a lengthy process. So if we're going to start gathering information to present to the board during the program transfer, my suggestion would be is submit the paperwork, we'll start the analysis, and at any point in time, the district can withdraw that. But that would allow us to, the fiscal side, the facility side, materials and supplies, parent meetings, so that you would be fully informed in terms of, you know.
Would this be a good move for our kids?
Yes.
But that sounds like action. If we're submitting paperwork to initiate the transfer, is that not action?
Well, that's action to start the process. The process can always be stopped. The process can always be declined by the board or by the superintendent's coordinating council.
Okay, I'm confused to the difference, but I might be the only one.
Well, it doesn't commit the district to doing anything. It just starts the process of gathering the information. And again, it could be 2 months into the process, we come back and say, we've done this and that, started the analysis, and here's why we'd like to recommend we withdraw the program transfer.
So what is your anticipation with regards to getting that information, those updates then?
I think one of the critical pieces that I really, I think it's important, we have not had this, but I do think the parent meeting is one of the critical pieces in terms of, there is always apprehension with change. I think both the parent meeting in terms of their students who are served in county operated programs and hearing from the district regarding the whys behind, our rationale and what we would anticipate if we were to be the provider of services for their students, I think is important. I think also the employee side is also important regarding how the employees are feeling about the transfer. I think that was one of the reasons why when we went through this process, maybe 10 years ago, maybe more, it really was one of the things that struck our board was the employee hesitancy on the county side. And so the then union president from the county side spoke before the board, and the board chose not to move forward with the program transfer. So the program transfer was withdrawn.
So then we could anticipate also hearing from the county within this fact finding in the board meetings, whether it's from the teachers or also the SELPA, to make sure that we fully understand, again, the root cause analysis for current conditions.
Right, and yes, so generally it's the SELPA director who kind of acts at Switzerland on behalf of both LEAs. But the county only operates, the services because we had requested this a lot of years ago. They're under no obligation to be a service provider. They could at any point in time also say, we no longer want to be the program provider. So I think this allows us to start the analysis and then be able to provide the data points back to the board. So you won't be in 18 months you're going to hear about this. You will have information moving forward.
Okay. But then would we have that same option? This is going to be a very in-depth and costly endeavor regardless. I'm just but then if we're in it, we can't really be like, we don't want to do this anymore.
No, you can. Because that is what exactly happened before. The board said, we hear from the county, we're going to withdraw our request.
No, I mean, you said the county could at any point be like, I don't want to do this anymore, right?
Right, and then we would have to then be our own provider.
Okay, but okay.
Right.
I would support the moving forward at the recommendation. Are there any other input or comments or questions?
I don't know. I would be a little bit more leery of it if it was the accelerated one, but if we're going to go forward with the full,
I would not.
One, I think giving every entity an opportunity to weigh in on how they feel about it, I think is a good thing.
Thank you. Moving forward then to comments from the public on items not on the agenda, we have none. Okay, moving forward then to the consent agenda. If there are no questions on the consent agenda, could I have a motion on the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second it.
On a motion by member Ciociola and a second by member Pretty to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Member Domke is the absent. Moving forward to action, 13A, the Ben Q and accessories. So you have a paper too.
Yeah, we're continuing to move forward with the interactive displays for Ben Qs for the classroom. So in front of you, there is a document that kind of outlines the timing, the phasing of it. We still have a lot of classroom, but the tech department's working really hard. Obviously, all of us know this has been a pretty significant year on technology, not just technology purchasing, but implementation, integration, and training. So it just, was the flexibility and patience with our students, number one, because they're in the classroom and our teachers having to learn how to use it. I just want to give a huge shout out to our teaching staff for the resilience that they have this year with learning some new technology. I can understand it can be challenging. Being a former teacher myself, I started off with a what is it, the old projectors that had like three green lines through it, and I had to bear with that for like 2 years. Then they finally gave me a good projector, so I'm really excited about that. So we're putting in for a proposal for 70 additional BenQ interactive displays. Our hope would be that these would be implemented during our winter break, so that the teachers who are pilot teachers and originally in the pilot project for the furniture rollout, a lot of them still need the BenQ interactive displays. So we want to make sure we outfit their classrooms with those. So that's what this phase would be about, would be the 70 BenQs would be for the pilot teachers. And any teachers who didn't receive one in the initial phase for the BenQ interactive displays. And then April, October, and April 8th, 2025, we would hope to be almost complete with 500 BenQs, the rest of the 500 BenQ interactive display boards. We're using supplemental concentration to fund these BenQ displays. We're going to continue to provide trainings through BenQ for our teachers and our staff to learn more. We want to actually continue to provide more advanced trainings. We have a lot of teachers who are like way beyond right now with their BenQ displays. Like they need more advanced training, so we want to continue to provide kind of differentiated training to our teachers, more about beginning, intermediate, and advanced trainings. Just because the capacity and the capability of these display boards is pretty vast. It's like our service pros we have right now. There's basic things we can do with them. There's more advanced things. We want to make sure we're providing training to all the teachers on all the different capacities of BenQ displays.
Are we offering trainings to teachers to be like in-person trainings?
Yeah, so we've only done it in person so far.
Okay, because online is.
They have those challenges there.
So, well, I just looked back to when they installed a smart board in my classroom a while back, and there was no training at all, ever. So, offered, so yeah, it was just kind of like, here it is, here's how you turn it on, and you can use these markers on it. That was pretty much what I got. So, I'm just hoping that this is a very expensive thing, especially for teachers who are not as tech savvy. I know that some are so tech savvy that they probably teach the trainers how to do some things at this point already.
Yeah.
But then there's others like myself who, not quite as bad as this is a mouse, but almost, would need a lot of support to really be able to utilize it so that it's more than just a movie projector.
And the teachers have given great feedback. We did the survey out, I think in September, early September, late August, on the teachers who received the BenQ boards. And, they had a vast range of feedback based on there was a lot of feedback from teachers. So they've been really great giving us feedback on how we can do this better.
Has the board seen that feedback? Has that been
disseminated? I can definitely do this.
That would be great, because this is an expense, and from what I'm led to understand, we are refreshing our technology at 3 to 5 years? Is it 5 years?
It's about 5. It's every 5 years, 3 to 5 years, basically our tech plan.
So then, in 5 years, we're going to go over this again, or the board will, right?
Not necessarily with BenQs. I think it depends on the technology you're talking about, and I don't want to speak fully for this, but I know with our laptops, for example, we have a replacement cycle in our tech plan where they have to go. I think every 3 to 5 years we do a replacement cycle with laptops. Smartboards, for example, like you mentioned, I know some of those last for over 10 years. You don't necessarily want to go past 10 years on some of that technology because, look at the world we live in now. We have electric cars and we have artificial intelligence. So technology keeps evolving.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have the same smart board that Nancy Contreras taught me with in 5th grade in my classroom?
We might have what we
can. You email? I'm Jewish.
Let the record show.
I didn't mention this.
I know. I went to Nancy Contreras, and I'm sure she was very nice. She must take very good care of her stuff. So this is K-12, K-8?
K-12.
K-12. Okay. And then also you've got board approval process purchase. So thank you for this outline. I appreciate that. I see board approval of purchase. What I don't see on here is estimated installation, as far as the date of purchase to installation. Also, what I don't see on here is what the current tech ticket delay times are, because obviously like the tech ticket success response rate, even though this is a classroom curriculum educational, it's also highly technological, and the two are intertwined. So before I feel comfortable about adding 70, the installation and the manpower and the turnaround time with regards to when this is successfully trained and implemented, before I feel comfortable saying, yes, let's go ahead, I want to make sure that our current technology that has been installed is that we've got our current tech ticket process somehow it's dialed in.
So that data has actually been through, and you'll see it in your Friday regarding, there's an actual year-to-year comparison from prior year to this year and by month and over time. So that will be, they've pulled it in, and I did not include it in this. So you'll see it on Friday. So actually what the initial data that I saw was there is really has not been a significant difference on the ticket counts from prior years. So you'll see that, and we'll send that out on Friday.
And then in prior years, were those also smart board installation years?
They were not.
Okay.
We did do based on the feedback from the tech tickets specifically to the BenQ displays, Robert and his department actually redeployed text specifically to each site based on, it's basically a triage node. So they looked at the top tickets that were like the most emergency tickets with BenQ, and then they sent out text to those specific sites based on the BenQ. So he actually did a pretty good plan on doing it. We wanted to make sure this teacher got it.
Thank you. So what's the since it's not included, what is your turnaround time from, like, let's say we all say yes, go ahead and purchase 70 more of these smart boards. What is the turnaround time from purchase to installation?
Our installation timeline, the 70 would be winter break.
Okay. And
that obviously is dependent on a lot of variables. Sometimes when you order, we all have gone through vendors, contractors. So that is the estimated installation timeline.
Okay. So that'd be winter break. So you're looking at it's from purchase, obviously your supply chain, et cetera. And then installation and making sure that you have the staff on hand during the winter break to install them, and then we would need to do training prior to school, right? Okay. So what would be the cons of a 2-week delay until our next meeting, so that we can get the tech ticket information, the teacher feedback? What would be the hardline cons to that?
So I'll let Robert speak to that one. I would say supply, delivery.
I would say we're trying to get that timeline, but we want to start sooner than later. And I do know
this is pretty tight right now.
The prior Friday letters have included almost every week the data on the tech tickets, and not necessarily the year-over-year comparison, but I do know like the average outstanding and turnaround time and so on and so forth.
Right, it has. Yeah. This one did not, included nothing from the technological department, and I haven't seen any of the teacher feedback, which is crazy because I've seen the meteor, we've gotten the feedback with the meteor at Grinnerter and the PD, and so I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you, and it is read, and it is, so for everybody who's actually given feedback, and for those who put it together and given it to us, I just want to thank you. I just want to make sure we're making wise decisions considering all of the very important variables within them. That's all.
You're on.
Yeah, so to answer your question, delaying this 2 weeks, we wouldn't be able to make December. So we would miss the December window. We have to also put out an RFP for the installation, as you alluded to. To answer your question on what the staffing level, so the RFP is going to be different this time for the installation. We're actually having a contractor remove the boards, where it was over the summer. Our maintenance staff and our IT staff remove the boards, and it's the old boards or the old equipment, and then we had the contractor install them. We're going to have the contractor do everything because it is a big lift to do this in that amount of time. Just a little point of clarification, the 70 boards, you're having about 40 installed in the December break. The other 2 are being installed in February and April, depending on how everything comes in, because we don't have enough time. So we're trying to get this all into all the classrooms, as Tino had mentioned, that had already done the pilot and already have the furniture in the room, but don't have the new equipment. So a lot of them, some of them have boards in their room, some of them have still projectors and things in their room. So
this is all part of the Tomorrowland, or what did you call it? What is the?
This is the 21st century classroom.
There it is. All right, I knew it wasn't Tomorrowland, but that's where I went. Okay.
And then did you on the tickets like Doreen had expressed, ticket counts were a little bit higher for a number of reasons, and you can see that obviously there were more issues out there that we had to resolve. Right. Absolutely. Also, we were pushing in the new model for people to use tickets instead of just the shoulder tap or calling somebody on their cell phone or something like that.
Right. So we can track it.
So we can track
find
it.
out
So
where our breaks are.
Correct. So that you will recognize that there was a certain amount of percentage of those tickets that were because we're just not having people shoulder tap or text anymore.
Totally.
Like we used to.
Yes, of course. And it can be a highly anticipated whenever any new tech is being installed. That tech ticket will also go up, and or the shoulder taps and
Those
right
will go up too.
as yes, learning totally. So but you already anticipate that.
Correct.
And so moving forward, feeling like that's what I'm looking for in the reports is like we see a common or we see where the breakdown is happening and anticipating it in the future so that it can be anticipated.
So we learned a lot from this install, which is why I made the turn to say we need to actually have a vendor install, remove and install everything, because some of these boards are rather heavy. So the older boards some of them were 180 pounds, and having the technicians moving those off the walls not.
You can call me and I'll get it.
Yeah, the best part.
But so that increased cost of an outside vendor is included in your supplies
correct.
And installation that it increased in cost, as well as the supplies being all of the peripherals that correct. We talked about.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Everything has been included.
So the one thing I do want to clarify though on the accessories, it does not include, there was a question you had regarding the towers. The towers are not associated with the keyboards, towers are associated with the Chromebooks.
Yeah,
so
I was just noting a common theme.
So when Chromebook purchasing is going to come forward, you would see the total cost including accessories.
Right.
Phones, towers.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Power towers, right?
I just covered.
Do we have any information, because I've received quite a few comments from teachers, and it's not just from one school, it's from several schools, about how they really miss having tech people who are dedicated to just their school. They really don't like not having them.
Yeah, so we have techs, just to be clear, we have techs dedicated to schools. We have 4 techs.
They're on campus.
We have 4 techs that are dedicated to schools. We have a tech on campus. For every campus, they go to a campus for 2 days, not each week. When we have bigger ones, they might be on 2 days, a week and a half. So let's say a week and a half between them. The high schools, both high schools have a tech every day at their site. So there's at least one tech at their site.
But is it the same tech every day?
It is rotation, there's 4 total. So every day for a week, for 5 days, the same tech is there for the 5 days. The next week, there's another tech.
That's some of the complaints I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why.
To working with a person and you feel you develop a rapport and comfort level with the person.
Understood.
So.
But when that person's not there and
right.
They're out for vacation, somebody else has to come and they don't know what's going on the site. What this plan does is allow the same 4 people to have the knowledge on the site, so that when anyone is gone, any one person is gone, or even 2 or 3, you still have one that has the knowledge of that site. So
and I get that, and it's a balancing act. I'm just
sharing,
putting it out there
yes,
that
ma'am.
People are not liking the change, and
I hear that, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I do hear it, and it was one of those things that we have to balance, and so I was trying to do what is in an industry standard, and also I think it was a best practice and something that would work best in these situations.
All right, thank you. Before I ask for a motion, Chris, did you want to respond to the allegation you can't lift 180 on?
I actually did it with him, so we can do it. It's just, it is a lot when you do it all day.
10 times is a lot.
Okay.
And we don't want anyone to get hurt.
Correct.
It's dangerous.
Thank you. Keenan will be proud.
Oh my God. You're so many.
Then on that note, could I have a motion on 13A that then Keenan?
I move that we approve.
My second.
On a motion by member Purdy and a second by member Core to approve 13A. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving forward to 13B, that the motion on expulsion, suspended contract, and revision.
I move that we approve as discussed in closed session.
I'll second that.
On a motion by member Purdy and a second by member Quilty to approve as discussed in closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving forward to 13C, child development continued funding application.
We have our child development programs, our preschool programs, and they're funded by this funding application, and so we need to get authorization to sign the continued funding for the CSPP contractor. Continue to receive funding for our child development programs, specifically our preschool program.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by member Ciociola and a second by member Core to approve 13C, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving forward to 13D, approval of district-wide fire alarm testing, inspecting, maintenance, and repair.
Yeah, so Mark Button is out this week, and so I'm bringing this forward as best I can. So this is went out for bid regarding our fire alarms, testing and inspecting and maintenance and repair of our alarm systems. And so the bids have been presented, and the lowest bidder for the project was Voltage Specialists, and is actually the current and testing monitoring company. So recommendation that we go with Voltage Specialists for our continued monitoring of our fire alarm system.
Are there any questions on 13D? If not, could I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
On a motion by member Quilty and a second by member Purdy to approve 13D. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to declaration of need. This was actually an item that was mistakenly placed in the consent agenda, right? So we have to react on it and as an action item. Are there any questions? If not, could I have a motion to approve?
So motion.
I'll second.
On a motion by member Ciociola and a second by member Purdy to approve. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving forward to board reports, information, and discussion. Are there any committee reports? I don't think any committees said that. No. Okay. Any charter reports? No. Okay.
No.
Moving forward, written communications from the public, we have none. So comments from employee representatives, we have Dina Riggins. SCT is present.
Good evening, board members, staff, and anybody out there who's in the public. I'm Dina Lukens, president of Yuba City Teachers Association. I appreciate your time this evening, especially as you continue to ask questions about the manner in which we implement decisions. I appreciate the fact that you've continued to monitor the tech ticket timelines, that you've continued to ask questions about the PD. I appreciate the fact that we are going to offer more PD, professional development, for those folks who are mastering new technology. So that's always appreciated. Tonight's effort to address those who achieve permanent status is a nice change, and hopefully it'll build upon it. YCTA does every March send emails out to those folks who will achieve permanent status with their first paid day the following year. It is indeed an important day for them. It is after March 15th of that second probationary 2 year that they know that if they return the following year, they have the due process rights to their future employment. And finally, I'd like to hit a few upcoming events and a past event. So this last Friday was the district-wide Professional Development Day for the YCTA Bargaining Unit. It is our opportunity to engage in some reflective practices, engage in some dialogue, and get some new information to continue to improve our practices. YCTA will evaluate with our members through a survey the effectiveness and relevance of that training so that we can continue to give feedback to improve our practices for professional development. We look forward to the meeting of the Professional Development Committee on October 25th. Upcoming this Thursday is our meet and consult. YCTA gets to meet and consult with Yuba-Sutter Unified over curriculum and instruction issues. On this Thursday's agenda, our ELD programs for our newcomers, those are our students who are just entering the country and have little English language skills. So we look forward to that conversation as we continue to try and improve our practices on effective language development for our students who are just learning English. And also the district writing assessment. We continue to bring forth the actual implementation of the district writing assessment and teacher involvement in the district writing assessment. Our next agenda will include TK report cards as we continue to work with the district to assure that our report cards are a useful and effective tool to inform parents of their students' progress. So we look forward to all of these opportunities to continue to engage in a collaborative process with Yuba-Sutter Unified. Yeah.
Mercedes here. I presume.
Doreen, will we be, the feedback that you get from this previous PD, will that be shared with us?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Comments from board members?
On that, I would just like to say thank you to those, for the record, for those who do engage in feedback, and we do read them when it's sent to us, and want to thank you. I know that as we're all human, we tend to love to talk about things that annoy us more than we talk about things we appreciate. So, but for anyone, I just having this for the record, want anyone to know that who has positively, negatively, honestly put feedback out there, whether it's with the tech tickets or with PD or curriculum, that any of that we do have the opportunity to look at, we do, and take it into consideration when we make these decisions. So just want to thank you all for taking the time to do that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I watched your parade. It was awesome. The kids were very excited. It was so nice. It was so cute. And went to the football game, which I'm sorry you lost, but it was fun being there. And they had a great turnout, good student presence for the football game last Friday night at River Valley. It was nice. It was cold though. It was cold when you were there. It was cold, but I, for one, enjoyed wearing a sweatshirt and leggings and a hat. I was ready for it to be football weather. We had beach wear, so yeah. But I'm happy you stayed warm and you showed up. Yeah, it was nice. It was fun. And your parade was awesome.
Yeah, we were really excited. It was cool that it was during Falcon Hour, so we weren't missing on any instruction time either.
No, it was great.
We believe you, don't worry. Any other comments from board members? No. Comments from the superintendent?
I do not have any tonight.
All right. Thank you everyone for attending tonight. Our next board meeting is October 24th at 7. Open session. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moving.
Yuba-Sutter.Live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.